Welcome in. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. I'm Jay Capron. Ron Salzard here with Petland of Iowa City. Hope you're off to a good start today. Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing warmer.
Warmer?
I'm digging this.
That's right.
Talking with my neighbors. I mean, everybody starts coming out. I love this.
Right? It's like, what, how have you been since I saw you last
that was
fall,
about it,
right?
what we were talking about.
Yeah, pretty much.
How was that winter?
Muddy paws, right?
Yes.
It's that time of year, but we're happy to talk pets in this hour every single week, and you can check it out. The podcast is always available at KXIC.com if you want to listen in that way. And plus, we encourage you to listen on Sundays in this 9 a.m. time slot. And again, we thank you for coming along. Today, we're going to feature the Vizsla, which is the breed of the week. We'll have the amazing pet story of the week. And today, for our pet story, we go to Victoria. Actually, Wales. That's where we're headed. So we'll learn where we're
going all over the place.
Going all over the place. Overseas there. We're going to Wales. I'm Welsh. Are you Welsh? Ron, do you know what you are? What are you made up of?
I'm mostly Polish,
okay,
German, and Norwegian.
All right, there you go. I'm Welsh, Irish, and English, and it's kind of a big mutt. Like,
I'm sorry.
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm proud of my heritage.
Yeah, you got
celebrated some St. Patty's Day last week. That was fun.
Got some feistiness going on. Is that true? Is feistiness for the you?
Italian. I always think of Italians as being feisty.
Not Irish or
Irish is Irish is a little feisty. That's right.
I wonder if that is really true though.
I don't know.
If we just,
I think we just extend, like
our
kind
personal
of paint with a
opinions.
wide brush.
Right.
So, what are we going to talk about as far as the topic, though?
Flea and tick. So we're going to talk about how to prevent it, on the natural type ways. What are the products that are out there? What are some of the new products that are out there? And then if you're like, hey, I just don't like to use those chemicals and stuff like that, what can I do to help my pet naturally?
All right, I like it. So you can learn more about flea and ticks. There's a lot of different treatments that are available, and we'll talk about that with Ron in just a little while. So we'll set the table here. That's what we're talking about today. Before we get too far along, we'll tell us about your store and where you're at, and a little bit about Petland.
We're Petland of Iowa City, located across from the Sycamore Mall, now known as Marketplace. Our hours of operation, today, Sunday, we're open from noon until 6, and then from Monday through Saturday, we're open from 10 a.m. until 9 p.m. We're all about education and playing and helping you out through that. So when you come in, you'll notice that there are pets to play with, which is kind of unusual now for pet stores, but we continue to have that available so that we can educate you, so that if this is something that you're looking to do, you can touch, feel, try, and then we get the books out and we start working with you and saying, is this the right pet for you and for your family, and educate you on what is it like to take care of a rabbit, a puppy, a reptile, a fish, and then meet the needs of both of you through that. So it's a really neat process that we go through. A lot of people come in just to play, and we appreciate that, because you're going to find the friendliest pets right in our store, because everybody's playing with them. So it's a great place. Some of the reasons why people do come in over and over again, $5 nail trims for your furry friend. And so just bring them in, no appointments necessary, and we'll take care of that for you. All of our dog and cat food is on a buy 10, get 1 free, and is competitively priced. So this is like getting 10% off your purchase when you do this program. We track it for you, so you don't have to do any of that cutting or pasting or remembering. We do it all for you on our computer.
You mentioned the Sycamore Mall, which is obviously AKA the Iowa City Marketplace. And I just read an article that Lucky's Grocery is on track and ready to open this summer. So they are.
Okay, so it's summer. I haven't seen the updated date.
It's supposed to be early summer too.
Excellent.
But that will certainly increase traffic in your area, and I know you're always welcoming new neighbors whenever it's something significant like this too. This isn't just a little shop that opened up on the corner. It's a significant anchor to that mall. So,
yeah. What's interesting with the Sycamore Mall, Marketplace Mall, is traffic. We've never seen a decrease in traffic. we were always just kind of growing, kind of a thing. There's been some stagnant times when we kind of just stay in the same spot, but it's neat that the traffic through our doors just keeps on going up.
That is good, because I know that's not the same for a few of the stores that were in the physical mall there. So I know some of them went out of business, and there's still a way to have somebody there to kind of just solidify the area a bit. In a place like a grocery store is really going to drive that traffic of all, more people morning, afternoon, evening. The theater's a good draw, but that is usually a lot of specific times, the night times too.
It does.
This will be a good. I know
it is definitely
the counselors are excited about it, and I know the people who live there, and you have your business there too. So if you're looking, I mentioned this also for the reason that if you're wondering what part of town it is, just think about that. It's the Sycamore Mall area. If you're familiar with it, and if you're not, it's the east side of Iowa City. So stop by, say hi to Ron. Petland's always buzzing. There's always people there who are ready to help you, and they open up at noon today. And today we're going to talk about the Vizsla. We'll learn. You had two, maybe still two, but they don't usually last very long. But we record this on Thursdays, and you're hearing it likely on the air on a Sunday in 9 o'clock hour. So there may still be two beautiful Vizslas. Were they both girls? Girl, boy,
girl and a boy.
Girl and a boy, and they're beautiful dogs. I always talk about the Weimaraner that I had. I loved similar type dog to the Vizsla. And we'll learn more about that in just a little bit. But first, let's go to Wales, figuratively, of course, and talk about the amazing story of the week here. Our amazing pet story of the week. Big voice guy, where are you at? Oh, there he is. He's making his way in, and he's dribbling a basketball.
Oh, yeah.
It's
got the fever.
Yeah. Bracket challenge.
What's his pick?
I don't know. He says he picked Georgia Bulldogs because of the pet show. Good for him, right?
He's getting a little more positive these days. I like that.
See, we're getting along with him a little bit better these days.
That's always good.
So yes, the amazing pet story of the week. We do go to Wales today, and Lewis, a Yorkshire Terrier. Love the Yorkies there. It seems like you always have a Yorkie there at Petland.
I think we do. It is a popular breed.
One of your more popular breeds. A 9-year-old named Lewis helped out by helping a woman who fell. Now, this is what took place here. Her name is Victoria Shaw. She tripped on a rug and fell while getting out of the shower. And what happened was, apparently, she says she'd been training him to hit the button just in case, but it always kind of turned into a bit of a game. So she said that they used to play this, and he would go and try to hit the button. And what happened is she fell and actually became knocked unconscious. So she added that the dog had never actually hit the alarm for real. But in this particular case, when she hit her head and became unconscious, Lewis must have thought, this time it's for real. So hit the button, the panic alarm was sounded, and emergency personnel arrived at the scene, and she was helped out. So not necessarily life-threatening in that particular situation, but still kind of cool that they had played with this and kind of taught the animal what to do. And really, on a similar note, I know that when there's people who have life-threatening situations, there are dogs that are trained to be able to help out in those emergency situations, like the dogs that you occasionally come across, I know, and people in the industry that have the dogs that are their guide dogs, their companion animals. And if people have a certain thing, like they have a oxygen machine that must be on, they could train the dogs that if something happens, and they can, sound an alarm or do something like that.
Yeah, seizures. That's one that I was always amazed at. How do they sense the seizure?
And then they're able to trigger that alarm and have someone help out. So cool story there, little Yorkie. So nice job on you, Lewis. Little Lewis, saving the
Little Louie.
Little Louie, saving the day there in Wales. So there's your amazing pet story. We'll learn about the Vizsla, then we'll take a break and come back and talk about fleas. So tell us about the Vizsla. Where's it from, Ron?
Hungary.
Hungary. Okay.
So this is a breed that has been in Hungary, and even up until recent times has been bred and out of Hungary, and has only recently gotten to America, 1950s. Back in the day, definitely, if you know the Vizsla at all, hunting is all about the Vizsla. It's a smaller stature than like a lab, a little skinnier, a little smaller in frame. Very beautiful. It's one of those, holy cow, the color is this kind of the orangey brightness of it is just vibrant, and is really a pretty dog. Short hair, So another reason why it's great for hunting, so that it doesn't get all hung up with furs and all that kind of a thing. Dates back to, I love this tribe, Magyar hordes.
Wow.
A tribe that settled in what is known as Hungary. And that was back in the 10th century. And so it's a tribe that actually, figured this one out. And they're always bred for the terrain they're from. And that's why it's got that little more of a smaller stature, muscular. And it went primarily after the smaller game that is out there. They call it the upland game, rabbits and waterfowl type thing. During the World Wars is when the Vizsla gradually gained popularity within America, and that's when it came over here. So what is this breed like as far as a family dog or a dog within your home? It is a more energetic dog. So if you're looking for that calm breed, this is not the one for you. It does have that energy especially for those first 2 to 5 years. You're going to do a lot of training, a lot of running with it, and if that's what you're looking for, this is right in line. If you've got those active kids that love to run around, this is a good breed for you. Get them run out, and then when they come back in, I'm all worn out, and so now you'll have more of a calm dog. So it is on that active side of things. Maintenance is pretty low because it's a fairly short hair. This is going to be a shedding dog, but that short hair is kind of nice because you're not going to see it as much as like a golden retriever, long hair shedding dog. That exercise is rated as vigorous and extended, so it's telling you it's part of the nature of this dog. If you're living in an apartment or a condo, it's probably not the right dog for you because it's going to get hyper. It's going to be one of those dogs that's just like kind of aggravating to you type thing. So it's more for the house, the yard. I got a fenced in yard. I go for, daily walks at least where I can get to parks and get this guy running and all that kind of a thing. So that is a day in the life of a Vizsla.
I like it. And I was thinking, you mentioned those tribes, and it's kind of fun to think about an animal that literally probably became part of the tribe, like a family member, because it helped them get food sources, right? It helped them hunt and
honey, I gotta go to get the food.
Right. What do you say, pheasant or game or
waterfowl?
Waterfowl. So this dog is literally helping this tribe survive because they found this companion animal that can help them get food for the rest of the tribe. And that's just kind of neat to think about.
Yeah, you can put your brain into it real quick.
Yeah, and if they are still here with us and could be your companion, maybe you won't have to depend on them for dinner every night, but at least you can have them. You feed them. We're returning the favor these days, right? All right, so we'll be right back with more. This is the Positive Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. And if you want to feed that Vizsla or any other type of dog that you have that Ron mentioned, buy 10 and get one free.
Over time, we track it for you.
So, and you have a huge variety, a whole wall of dogs.
We have, last time I counted, was over 35 different types of dog food. And then probably over 20 types of cat food. So there's a lot of variety in the store.
High quality dog food.
Yeah. It's high quality, so you're going to feed less on top of everything. And then all the nutritional aspects are more digestible. They have those extra things in there like the vitamins and the glucosamines and the omega-3s. It's all up at a higher level, and you actually do see the benefit in your dog in the coat, healthier skin and coats. And
Vizslas have beautiful coats too.
Oh, hugely
really do. Yeah. All right, Ron, we'll be back with more. This is the Positively Petland Show. When we come back, fleas and ticks. That's what we're talking about, ways to help stop that. And we'll be right back with more. Listen, stay tuned. The Positively Petland Show underway here, AM 800 KXIC, Iowa City.
all right, so we just did over 10 minutes. And so we have, 35 minutes?
Well, I've got it
20.
More than that. I'm at 19 minutes, but I think I think we did like 15 minutes, yeah.
Okay, so we got till the 8th?
Yeah, probably around there.
All right.
Yeah. So I could just keep the fuel and so here you go. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. It's the PAWSitively Petland Show, AM 800 KXIC. I'm KXIC morning host Jay Capron, and Ron Salzer is here from Petland of Iowa City. We're having fun, as always, talking pets, talking about our furry friends. And it's that time of year when the weather starts changing. And as you'll learn from Ron, he'll tell you, fleas and ticks aren't something you just should be thinking about when it is warm like this, but it certainly comes to mind when you start thinking about those bugs coming back. We'll talk about that coming up. If you just tuned in, we did talk about a little Yorkie that saved a woman after she fell and was knocked out, and we pressed that emergency button. And then Ron told us about the Vizsla, which is the breed of the week, and there may still be one or two pups available at the
KXIC?
Yeah, they're here.
I'm heading right out.
Yeah, go to the radio station. No, don't go to the radio station. We won't be there today. So yeah, but anyway, they might be there at the store. So check them out if they are there, and if not, Ron, I know you talk to some people if they want a specific breed. Sometimes you can let them know if a certain breed comes around, right?
Oh yeah, we have the waiting list,
Yeah.
and so we give you a call, and every week I'm out with the breeders on Tuesdays. And what is really fun, and I made mention of it to our store, I just said, gosh, it is so fun to come into the store on Tuesdays when I'm bringing in the puppies. Everybody goes hyper and excited, and oh my God.
Yeah. Tuesday's your day, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
from early in the morning till late at night, I'm out working with breeders and all that. I try to condense it all onto one day like that.
How much travel is that for you?
I put on over 50,000 miles of vehicle every year. So it's a lot of driving.
But that's with trade shows and other stuff too, right?
Oh, that's a minor part of the big picture. It's the driving
really
on
is
Tuesdays.
the
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
Oh yeah, I spend probably 6 hours in the car on Tuesdays.
Are all the breeders that you have in Iowa?
No, they're spread out from everything from Minnesota, Iowa. I don't think I have any Missouri breeders that I'm working with, but that is always, depending on quality and what I'm looking for and all that. Like yesterday, I was talking with a Missouri breeder. They're just a little far away is the problem. I like to visit their facility, see what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a little bit more of a drive. So right now I'm not going to Missouri, but that's not to say that we won't. They've got really fantastic breeders now.
Do you ever meet them halfway or anything like that?
Yeah, there's, when the gas prices started going really high, this is years ago, I said, guys, I need help.
Me out here. Yeah, no, that's understandable. But it's not like you don't know where they're from, though, because you always expect all the breeders.
All the breeders that I've worked with, gosh, I think all of them. Jake is somebody I just brought in, but I've been talking with Jake for years. I just had not purchased anything from him. But I think I've worked with all my breeders for at least 7 years. So it's a long term. When I make the relationship, it's a long term. Usually is a long term. If I see something wrong, then I
right. Is that every Tuesday, though, you said, pretty much?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you travel by yourself?
Yes.
This is something I've not learned about with your business. I mean, we've talked about your breeders, and I know you're happy to explain and to tell everyone, because that's a sensitive subject for some, and so I know that's something you'd like to bring out in the open and let people know exactly what you're doing.
We work with breeders that are the most open breeders in the world. There are more people looking at the breeders we look at than any other breeder out there, because the USDA is looking at them. If you don't trust the government, well then how about the veterinarians that are out there working with our breeders? And if you don't trust the USDA and the veterinarian, I'm working with them. So now there's a third unrelated.
You personally, but then also Petland.
And then Petland corporate, they're protecting their, the brand, so to speak. And so they're out there. And then AKC, if they have AKC registered dogs, then the AKC is out there. So it just keeps on going on. They're the most looked at breeders in the world. So,
and we could talk more about this out there, because I don't know how much the listeners care about this, but that just, to me, is interesting. I didn't realize that every Tuesday, that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I enjoy it from working. You get to see puppies and stuff like that. And that obviously is a joy, to see all that. But then the other side, I love driving.
A little window time is good.
And I listen to a lot of podcasts, your podcasts, and I love learning. And so It is a joy. At the end of the day, I'm usually like, oh shoot, I didn't get to this or that, and I'm like, oh.
It's got to be pretty well planned out too, though, because you got to figure out where you're going, what time you got to be there.
Yeah.
It's an early start to the day.
Early start, a late stop.
Interesting. All right. Well, so Tuesdays, that's a good day to know. I guess Wednesday would be a good day to go to the store, then, just because you know that there's going to be.
Oh yeah, and there's customers waiting for me on Tuesdays because around noontime is when I show up after the what I call the northern trip.
The northern trip.
And then later on, that one's a little more sketchy as far as when I come in, but 4 or 5 o'clock usually.
Huh. All right, it's nice to learn a little bit about your business. But anyway, go on to the topic now. Fleas and ticks. If you want to keep your pups, let's start right there. We're talking puppies. Do you start this with the little pups? If we get them on the flea and tick schedule?
Yeah, you have to be a little cautious on when they're that young. So weight is one consideration, and then age. We'll talk about products that will literally work from the day they're born. You can work with them like so really safe products is what that's saying. All the way to some of the more the chemistry based ones. 7 weeks is usually when you want to start them. And when do you start flea and tick? It should be year round, and I fall into the same path as most people. In the wintertime, I don't really worry about it much, and I get lax in the wintertime as well. Know that you can get fleas and ticks in the wintertime. You usually get it from within your home or other home environments. So if your dog is visiting another dog in their home and they have fleas or ticks, usually it's the fleas that really are tenacious throughout the year in a home even. And that dog or cat will bring that home into your home, and then will propagate within there. Realize they love that 70 degrees, and what do we keep our houses at 68, 70 degrees throughout the winter? They're thriving still as long as they've got food sources, which is your cat or dog. Then they're going to town. And so that's one reason, if you've ever had an infestation, you have to treat year round, because you've got those eggs thing, and all that kind of stuff hatching throughout the year. So you got to be
from people that I've talked to, I never want one of those.
Yeah, okay, so you don't have a story.
I've never had it, but you've told yours on the air here, and I also know that there's other people I've talked to that have had it, and it just sounds horrible.
Right. Yeah, they do bite humans, but they don't like this, and so it's a bite just to get along. It's kind of like they're starving, and I gotta have something. It's like a vampire. You're not. We're not.
I don't like the way we taste.
Yeah, and so they jump right off of us. We tend to not get infested ourselves,
right?
But they do hide out in the carpet, in the furniture, in the dog beds, all of those kind of things. And then once a good host comes by, i.e. a dog or cat, they jump on. That's where they get enough nutrients to start propagating, because there'll probably be some other fleas of other sexes and stuff like that on there, and so they can propagate and keep on going.
And you got to call the contractor. That's not true.
No, and that's the thing. That's prevention is worth a lot of money when it comes to getting them out of your house. And I think most people could, the money, thousands of dollars in getting it. That wasn't my concern. It was the uncomfortableness of having
to know that there's.
Oh, you're itching, because they do get you a bite, so you're itching. You're seeing your dog or cat suffer, right? And you're like, this is just not right. So ounce of prevention is really critical.
I don't have flea stories, but I do have plenty of tick stories. I'm not going to tell the stories, but I am familiar with ticks. I was a little boy who spent half my childhood out running around in the forest, and I was I love being outdoors, and I received them myself. But then even my little guy last year, 2 years ago now, had one. We were out in our garden, and when we came back in later that night, he had one on the back of his head, and he was really grossed out by the fact this thing was stuck in the back of his head, and we were able to get him out. But just that whole process of pulling a bug out of your skin, you don't want to do that. And your dogs, they love the dogs, because the dogs have the fur, and they have places to bury into. So,
they're harder to see.
Yeah, and you can get sick. I know too. Lyme disease is a concern, but so the preventive measures you have are for fleas and ticks.
Mm-hmm. And so a little bit about just how do I handle this and do my best on preventing the risk on the front end. So we're not talking chemistries yet or anything like that. Just what do you do as far as how can I keep it to a minimum risk in my house and in the yard? So washing your pet is definitely a good thing, because you are washing and rinsing them off and all that kind of stuff and flushing them down the drain. But then at the same time, you know, the bed covers, the beds themselves, the blankets that your dogs use. I even use the toys and everything. I throw those in the washing machine and I wash them out just to get rid of all of those areas that the fleas and ticks can hide out and just wait for that host to come by. Making your yard less appealing to ticks and fleas, you can do that by keeping your grass cut. They do say the shorter it is, the better it is. If you're cutting your grass, it's fairly short already.
Yeah.
So
I know they're just saying don't let it get, you know, like those neighbors or the people you see sometimes that have that really long.
Yeah, keeping it under control is key there. Brush piles and stuff are huge areas where fleas and ticks can harbor, and are just, again, waiting for you to come by, and they'll jump from the leaf or the brush area onto, you know, your dog or cat. And so keeping brush piles down. I know when I've gotten, and my dogs have gotten, we have more problems with ticks than fleas. I know the fleas are out there. And whenever we're walking through those higher leaves that are just maybe a half a foot to 2 feet high, that's when we get into trouble, and that's when we have to check to make sure that, you know, a tick didn't jump up on us. So in your yard, if you can minimize that kind of a thing, you're going to have a much more successful time on just prevention without any chemistries, which I'm going to say this is first step, but don't skip the second step of applying a good product on there to prevent it. Vacuuming throughout your home is going to also be a nice way of keeping things under control. If by chance fleas can get through your screen that's on your window, I've seen them literally crawl through. I was just, you know, by a random chance was looking through the window, and I noticed a little dot, and it crawled from outside to inside and along the windowsill, and I'm like, ah! And I, you know, when I'm always testing, is it a flea? Is it a flea? If you could go and try to put your finger on it, and then all of a sudden when you get about 2 inches away, it disappears. That was a flea.
Jumped away.
And where did it jump to now?
Probably you.
Yeah. And so it went right through the screen. They're small enough to get through that. So by just keeping things vacuumed, especially by the windows, hey, that's a good place to keep, you know, do a couple of extra runs with the vacuum to keep that under control. And then keeping anything that the wildlife in your yard is getting into, like garbage, hey, your compost pile sometimes is a place for the rodents and everything that kind of hang out in, and we like that because it's decomposing, but they're bringing that flea and tick risk into the area. So keeping those outside of where your dogs are normally running around, so that that's not potentially a risk for your dog. So those are some just nice natural ways of taking care of your natural areas to keep it at a minimum. Mm-hmm. Now, getting into, we'll start with the chemistries, and then we'll get into more of the homeopathic-y type things that are safer.
Homeopathic.
I'm an engineer.
Hey, it works. We know what you're saying.
We're some of the most creative people on earth.
That's all we need, is we know what you're saying.
So the first one, that my favorite, is Advantix, and I think it's Advantix 2 is the most recent version of it. These products, this and Frontline, are chemistries that you can apply to your dog. Now, there are a lot of other chemistries out there, and you'll notice a big price difference between the ones that I will say, hey, they work really well, and your veterinarian will say the same thing, and those that are lower cost, and your veterinarian will say, be cautious with those. And the reason is they literally have 1/3 the dose. I don't know why it's 1/3, but whenever I compare those more expensive ones with the cheaper ones, it's 1/3 the dose. So they have a lot of the same ingredients in them, but they have 1/3 the dose, and the veterinarian will say that's not enough to take care of what you're trying to do. Realize when you apply these Advantix, Frontline, and some others, they start off with that dose that you put on there, and then throughout the next 30 days it tapers down to the point of, at the end of the 30 days, you're starting to get risky as far as there's not enough product on your dog to prevent those fleas and ticks. So at 30 days, you then redose it, and then you go through that same cycle where it just slowly wears off. Most of these topical products work with the oils on your pet's skin. So both cat and dog, you apply it right behind the neck, and I usually go right down the spine area and just do like 5 dots and use it up. It then propagates to the rest of your cat or dog by using the oils to propagate through. And you'll notice that they actually are a little oily if you get a little bit on you. You'll notice that they're a little oily themselves. That's how they propagate throughout your cat and dog to get that protection. So Advantix 2 and Frontline are some of the leading products that do a really, really good job. Literally, is it 20 years ago or so, the house cleaners that come to rid your house of all this were using some of the products that are in these products in the Frontline. Frontline was the first one to start using some of these. They almost put the cleaning businesses out of business. I talked with one local businessman here, and he goes, "Oh yeah, when that happened, when Frontline came out, they had to find other ways of helping people with cleaning their houses, because we were doing a lot of flea and tick ridding the house of it, and they had to find alternatives because that business just went away." These products are really effective. They're also safe for your dog as long as you go by the directions on the product. And also a word of huge caution: do not use your dog product on a cat. A cat will literally pass away because it's just so much more, and cats are much more sensitive to all these.
It's good to know. Somebody might just think, "Oh, it's the same stuff."
Yeah, and I haven't seen any study that says it decreases your dog's health or life or anything like that. I've seen more studies showing that if they go unprotected, there's more risk of the Lyme's disease and other diseases. Heartworm gets through the mosquito, where an Advantix has a repellent that actually repels mosquitoes.
Okay.
So those are the 2 big products. They work is the way to do it. Read the directions or ask for some help in our store, because there are some ways to make sure that they are applied correctly. For instance, do not wash your dog 24 hours before or after. They all say that they are water resistant and that your dog can go swimming, but realize it does take a little bit off of the dog or cat every time you bathe them or they go running into the lake. So you might need to do a little bit of extra preventative as a result. If your dog is in the water every day, chances are that product is getting washed off at a much higher rate than a normal dog would. Some other tips on that, I'm trying to think. Oh, using a multiple point application. So not only between the shoulder blades, but along down the spine. Just you're getting a better distribution of the product throughout the whole cat or dog.
Well, one thing that makes me wonder, and other listeners might be wondering this too, so I'll ask you, is that when you say you put them on the neck and then between the shoulder blades, that's what the package tells you. When you see it, it says put it there.
Right on the skin, so you have to divide the fur to get it down to the skin.
Right. So my question to you is, I'm picturing a big, furry St. Bernard right now. Okay, so if you put these little dots there, then how is that stopping the flea from being underneath his shoulder or underneath his armpit and just feasting away at there if you only put that little dot back there? How does it work?
It is an oily product, and it's using the oils from the cat and dog to seep through
The rest
all
of
of the skin of that pet.
Okay.
You'll notice that when you apply these products for the next 3 or 4 days, it's a little oily in that area, and then it just naturally goes away.
The other part.
All right. I'll brush the dog a little bit, and then that kind of gets it going again. But it just propagates through the oils of the skin to go throughout the entire dog.
Okay.
So that's how it. Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah. Well, I just wondered, because you're putting it in one location, so how does it stop it from the flea's not just setting up the shop and having a little feast on the other part of the animal? So it sounds like that's the way it works.
Some now getting into some natural products. There's herbal products. We have a complete line from Nature Vet of herbal products for both cats and dogs. It's everything in a powder form, in a shampoo, in a spray. There's all different ways you can do it. Now realize that this is not as effective as the other products, but it's something better than nothing for sure, and it's a lot better than nothing. Also another natural product, if you have a flea infestation in your house, there is a product by Nature Vet that we have. It's called No Flea Carpet Crystals, and it's a product that is very safe for the humans and all that kind of stuff. And you just sprinkle it throughout, all throughout your carpeting, let it sit in there, and the fleas don't like it. They're just like, oh my gosh, this is bad stuff. And so you're ridding your house of the fleas with using the No Flea Carpet Crystals. So that's a nice natural product to use throughout for both your dog and cat and your house. Pets Life has a couple of products that we have in our store. One is, again, it's a natural product that you spray right on your cat or dog. And then they also have an internal treatment that you feed, just you sprinkle it a little bit on their food. I did, when I was talking with this manufacturer, they did say you got to do this product 12 months out of the year. You never stop the product. They see really great results, but if you are stopping and going on the product, they don't find it to be as effective. So if you're one of those that are not scheduled enough to make sure that happens, then this probably is not the product for you. But if you want to do a natural product and have, do the powders on the out and then have an internal treatment that kind of does a repellent aspect to the skin so they don't want to get in there, and have it totally safe, natural for your dog, this is a really cool product, and that's why we brought it in. It was a powder that you just sprinkle on the dog or cat food to make sure that happens throughout the year. Bobby Panther has a shampoo that is so safe you can use it on newborns, and that's why we were talking on the front end. It is a safe product that you can use on very young dogs or cats, and be confident that you're not toxifying the dog in any way, shape, or form. There are some others. I didn't talk about dips and things like that. Some of those are also good for those younger dogs that you can't use the flea treatment on, the Frontline or the Advantix. And it's just a dip product, but again, use the label to guide you on around the dog. But we have found those to be really effective too, where you kind of have, well, if they're really small, you literally have a bucket and you dunk them down into the solution, massage it, get it all worked in, and then let that then dry them off. But it has a residual effect as well. So even after you've washed them, the dips have a continual product that's on there. There's actually some other sprays as well, where if you have that dog that's in the water a lot, there's a product by Biogrim called Repel. Again, one's for the dog and one's for the cat. Don't get them mixed up. And it's a really nice product to redose your dog or cat throughout that month. I always say your first line of defense is Advantix or Frontline. Over the last few years, people have been saying Frontline is not working as well, and so we just switch them to Advantix and the problem goes away. But we also say if your dog is that really active dog that's finding a lot of water, get the spray by Biogrim called Repel to up the dose throughout the month to keep it so that they are continuing to stay off. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is, okay, I found a tick on my dog. What do I do? And we've all got all the home remedies. What are some of the home remedies that you know?
Oh, geez, I've heard a whole bunch.
The match head thing.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with them. You don't want to hurt. You don't want to hurt the animal.
Yeah,
for sure.
They're dangerous-y type products, and we mean well, but we don't want to also hurt our pets. Last year, this Marshall Pet came out with a product called Tick Release Spray. And it's a spray, it's actually a package that you buy fairly cheap. And so you have this kind of at the ready. And what you do is you spray the area 1 to 3 times so that right on the tick. The sooner you get the tick, the better. They actually will cement themselves in.
I know.
They can't even get out even if they wanted to.
You don't want to leave the head in there either.
Right, because that leads to infection, or if it's the Lyme's disease thing, you're continuously infecting the animal or us. But this tick release spray, you spray it on there, you wait an hour or two, If the tick is not released, they have these little tweezer things that are specifically designed for ticks to go in there, lift them out. And so it's a really cool product just with that alone. Now they go one step further. They actually have in the package a vial. You can put the tick in the vial. It is extra expense. You're going to pay more for it. I think it was anywhere from $25 to $100 to test that tick for Lyme's disease. And they had, if you just wanted one check, it was $25. But as you tested for other things, I think it was up to 10 things, it was $100. So you dictate what it costs. Like I don't even, myself, I would be more concerned with Lyme's disease here. That's all I really hear about from the community. So it'd be $25 just to, hey, just want to make sure it doesn't have Lyme's disease.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Kind of thing. So this is the first product that I've ever seen that has that component to it where, yes, it helps you get it out, but you can actually now go test it and make sure that it doesn't have Lyme's disease.
Interesting. I never heard of that. Yeah, that's interesting. And you know, like I said, I've pulled more ticks out. It's always gross when you do it, but you never really do know that was going to get you sick. So it's kind of cool to drop it in and you can test it. Well, we're almost out of time for the show, Ron. It's zipped along here. We'll talk more about this, I know, in the future. But as always, if people have questions, they can walk up to one of your counselors and they'll point them in the right direction with more details on those products and more. Anything else you want to mention as we wrap up?
Just Petland, Iowa City. We're all about education. Come on in, have fun, come in and play. We've got everything from small animals, hamsters to rabbits to guinea pigs, all the way to puppies and kittens. But then if you're like into that scaly side of things, we got the reptiles, everything from all the reptile names are going out in my head right now, geckos and all that. Bearded dragons and snakes and spiders. If you are sensitive to those areas, we totally understand where you're coming from. Just don't go to the back right corner of our store and you won't see any of this. So we do put it out of the way. Yeah, we do understand that there's people that are sensitive to those. My wife being one of them.
My mom definitely one of them. Yes.
And so just don't go to that back right. You'll know there's a big spider made out of balloons. In the back of our store, hanging from the ceiling. Don't go in that area. But go back to the fish, because that is a really cool area. Our fish counselors are so excited about the department. Look at how they've decorated the tanks, the art on the front of the tank.
That's
and all
new too. I've noticed some extra on there.
Well, they were starting to do it. And I go, why aren't we doing this? I go, keep on going. I go, I want you to have to look around just to see the fish because you guys do such a nice job. So there's a lot of things that they do back in the department to make it fun.
Very cool. That's Ron Salter. He owns Petland of Iowa City, he and his family. So go check them out. And we will see you guys next week. We'll talk to you next week anyway. AXIC.com. You can listen to this podcast and more. Petland opens at noon today. Bye.